lets the leg get a little bit more out. He's a little bit more of a long and lean type of player, and not quite as compact, but in other respects, he is much the same. He throws that hard riding fastball that batters will swing under and pop up a lot, and he throws that straight over the top curveball, and they tell me he's come up with a pretty good changeup.
You know, Larry, in looking at Gooden and putting in perspective for a young guy like he is, 21 years old and 19 when he first came up to the big leagues, you expect an athlete like that to throw hard if he's got a good arm. But the curve that he possesses is a little bit out of this world, isn't it, for as young as he is?
You don't expect him to throw as hard as he does or have as good a curveball as he has, but you expect him to have raw talent. And then you expect to spend 4 or 5 years refining that talent while you bring him to the big leagues. This guy was refined when they got him. He spent 2 years in the minor leagues, and that might have been too many.
Well, we're going to play ball here at Shea tonight. 2 first-place clubs. Dwight Gooden against Bob Knepper, and Bill Doran will lead it off.
One thing I noticed as you look around the Mets infield is Ray Knight at third, and the Astros found when he was here that he had some problems fielding bunts. Now you've got a grass surface, easier to bunt on, and it may be just a little bit wet, although they got the tarp on in a hurry. Well, Ray Knight is about 10 feet in toward the plate from third base.
Doran leads the Astros with a batting average of .306. 4 runs batted in. Doran, Reynolds, and Cruz here in the first inning against Gooden. 1 ball, 1 strike. Doran has done a tremendous job leading off. He has led off. This is his 21st game. In the previous 20 games, he has reached first base 11 times out of those 20 games in the first inning. And the Astros have won 9 of them. One of those 9 of the 11 games that he's started off with. Always good to get out in front with that early run. He's had 8 hits and 3 walks in the first inning out of 20 ball games. And a ball down again.
If you've got a leadoff hitter with a good eye, a lot of times he can get that walk to start the game because the pitcher has got to make the adjustment from the bullpen mound to the field, and sometimes that takes a hitter or 2.
Ball 3 and strike 1 on Doran. Popped him up. Shortstop, left center field. Santana, Foster, and Mitchell there. Foster gets the call from left. 1 out. So Gooden comes back from a 3-1 count. Rubs Doran out, and that'll bring up Craig Reynolds.
Pitchers, you can try to play it a little bit coy and work for walks and hope to make the most out of just a few hits. But with this guy, 6 walks in 43 innings, 1.25 every 9 innings. How are you going to stand there and wait for a walk?
Reynolds hitting .325. A couple of homers and 11 runs batted in, 1 out. Knight stays in close again at third base. Strike 1. Reynolds now being platooned at shortstop with Dickie Thon on a regular basis. It's 1-1.
One thing you do have to at least try to do is make sure you swing at a strike, because if he gets you swinging at that fastball up around letter high, you're in big trouble.
Outfield just a little bit off the opposite side here for Reynolds. Foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here at Shea, it's .338 down the lines. 410 to the flagpole in center. And the power alleys are .371. Crowd reaction, 2 strikes here on Reynolds. Fly ball to left to open the ball game off the bat of Bill Doran. 1 out. Two balls, 2 strikes. Gooden 6'3" and 200 pounds. Just started his 3rd year in the big league. This is the 33rd strikeout for Gooden this year.
Well, the curveball is his first of the evening, and it sends Reynolds back to the dugout. Hard biting straight over the top, right at the knees.
2 outs. Here's Cruz. Shea's had 9 hits in 46 trips for that 196 average. 5 RBIs. And a strike to Cruz. High hard one. 0-2. First inning at Shea. 2 outs, nobody on. Fouled on a play. Still 2 strikes on Cruz here in the first inning. And 2. Astros have won 9 and lost 4 on the road this year. They are 2-3 on this current trip, with 2 to go here in New York, and then over the weekend 3 in Pittsburgh before getting home on Monday against the Phillies. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Cruz. Nobody on, 2 out. 2 strikeouts for Goodman in the first inning. Top of the first here at Shea. Nothing for the Astros. And the New York Mets are coming in to hit. Bottom of the first inning, Davy Johnson will hit them this way tonight. Kevin Mitchell will lead off. Tim Tuffle will bat number 2. Keith Hernandez. And batting in the 4th spot is Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, George Foster, Ray Knight, Rafael Santana, and the pitcher Dwight Gooden. Glenn Davis at first base for the Astros. Bill Doran at second base. On the left side of the infield, Craig Reynolds at shortstop, and Denny Walling at third base. Outfield tonight, that's Jose Cruz in left, Kevin Bass up the middle, and Terry Poole is in right field. And Alan Ashby is catching Nepper tonight. Here's Kevin Mitchell to lead it off, bottom of the first. A rookie. And Nepper throws him out. 1 away. Mitchell, a .321 hitter, and he's played in center, and he's played in left, he's played at short, played at third, so they've really used him. Leading off in center field tonight, 1 out.
Looking at Nepper's numbers, which are just about as impressive as Gooden's, in fact more so. He's got another win. One thing he's got to guard against is trying too hard and overthrowing, because you go out there and look at Gooden and you say, boy, I got to pitch a shutout, and you might try to throw too hard.
Tim Tuffle. Tuffle has been platooned with Wally Backman. Backman's been playing most of the games. Tuffle new to this ball club from the Minnesota Twins. .220 average with a homer and 7 runs batted in. Backman's out with a hamstring pull. Ball 1 and strike 1. 1 out, nobody on, no score. Bottom of the first. Keith Hernandez will hit next. Bob Nepper against Dwight Gooden. Tuffle, known as a real good hitter in the American League. Pretty good second baseman. His inability to turn the double play was one of the reasons that Minnesota soured on him. But he has fit into the niche over here pretty well for the New York Mets. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Number 1 for Nepper.
Nepper gave him a real good changeup, and he got out in front and hit it foul. He came back inside with a hard slider, and that's the way that Nepper has to pitch. A little bit, put a little on, take a little off. Move it from one corner back to the other. And that's what he's been doing all year long.
Hernandez hitting .325. Leads the Mets with 19 runs batted in.
Well, he's the kind of guy you can put in that 3 slot and leave him there, too, because he's a pretty good RBI man. He's a good on-base man. He walks a lot, and he hits left-handers just as well as he hits right-handers.
2 men out here in the first inning. Hernandez has a 9-game hitting string, which has boosted that average to .325. Leads the club in hits. Nepper has a strikeout and a tap back to the mound for the first 2 outs here in the first inning. He gets behind on Hernandez 2-0. 64 degrees in New York. It was 90 this afternoon. So it cooled off considerably when that front came through, just a little bit before game time. Ball 3. Gary Carter's on deck here for New York with a 3-1 count on Keith Hernandez. Nepper, 31 years old. 5 wins and no losses. Most wins in the National League this year with a 131 earned run average. Fly ball to Cruz. A lot of room for Cheo. And that retires the side. So Hernandez ends the first inning as Nepper and Gooden live up to their early stats, each retiring the side in order. We go into the second inning. Here at Shea in New York, it's 0-0. Dwight Gooden will be looking at Glenn Davis, Denny Walling, and Alan Ashby. No score. Up high, ball 1, 1-0. .218 batting average for Davis. Leads the Astros with 5 homers and also tops the club with 17 runs batted in. Right down to third baseman Ray Knight. Nice hand action and a little bit of a bad hop. On over to Hernandez. Third first, Davis is out, 1 away. Here's Denny Walling. Cubs beat the Dodgers today with a 9th inning home run by Leon Durham, 7-6. Lee Smith off the disabled list won it, and Tom Niedenfuhr lost it. A lot of home runs in Chicago today. Steve Sachs, Bob Welch, Mariano Duncan, Gary Matthews, Sean Dunston, Keith Moreland, and the game winner, Leon Durham. 16,000 is Chicago. They beat the Dodgers 7-6, so the Dodgers lose a half a game on first place this afternoon. That puts them 4.5 out behind Houston. Second baseman, Tim Tuffle, on Walling's chop, and they're 2 outs. A minimum number of pitches here for 2 outs for Dwight Gooden in the second inning, and that'll bring on Alan Ashby. Three homers and 6 RBIs for Ashby, who has been doing the bulk of the catching for the Astros. There's another chopper, fair ball Hernandez. That was an easy one. About 4 pitches in that inning. That retires the side. Top of the second. Nothing doing again as Gooden gets 6 in a row. Carter, Strawberry, and Foster will hit here at Shea in the bottom of the second. It is 0-0.
You know, one of the best things about being an ex-big leaguer is getting freebies to the game. Call the front office, bingo. And once these fans recognize me, I probably won't even have to pay for my light beer from Miller. Down it, crap! I love them. These fans know I drink light because it's less filling and it tastes great. Good seats, huh?
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on.
Oh, I must be in the front row.
Come on.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Good seats, hey, buddy? He missed the tag! He missed the tag!
Here's Gary Carter. Nepper will face Carter, Strawberry, and Foster. As we go to the bottom of the second, 0-0. Carter hitting .257. Leads the Mets with 19 runs batted in and has hit 3 home runs.
He had .257 against the Astros last year.
A little bit late getting started tonight, about a 45-minute rain delay. And nothing doing on the bases yet tonight with Gooden and Nepper going. Getting a little light drizzle again here at Shea. Nepper down 2-1 here to Carter.
Carter had a home run and 8 RBIs against the Astros, so it was a hard .257.
Ball 2, strike 1. Shortstop, Craig Reynolds. And Carter is out, 1 away.
field perhaps just a little bit sharper in a game like this, because you got the real big crowd and the big pitching matchup. And you know against Gooden that any little mistake might lose a ball game, and so you're just a little bit more on your toes.
There's Strawberry stats, and he is right up there again early. A little bit late on his home run start, but he has 5 now. 303 average and 17 RBI. Strikeout total's a little bit high, but he is that kind of swinger. 1 ball and no strikes. 1 out, nobody on, nothing and nothing. Two balls, no strikes. Knepper has defeated San Francisco twice and Cincinnati twice. He has shut out each of those clubs once, and his other win was over Montreal. That was last Friday, winning that one 6-3. Bill Doran and 2 outs. Sharply hit ball by Strawberry. So Knepper duplicates Gooden in the early going. Here's George Foster. Foster's had a lot of trouble since he came over from Cincinnati to live up to his billing and his salary, and the fans have mixed emotions about him. He's not played a whole lot this year.
And sharing left field with Danny Heath.
But he starts tonight with a 309 average, 6 runs batted in, and he gets around late on Knepper's pitch. Strike 1.
Look at Foster's numbers, and they're not too terribly bad. They're good. They're just not great, and that's what is expected of him.
Cruz very deep in left field for Foster. There are 2 outs as Carter and Strawberry have bounced out here in the bottom of the second. A ball and a strike to George Foster.
Foster's years with the Mets, 13 homers and 70 RBIs, then 28 and 90, 24 and 86, and 21 and 77. A lot of guys would be happy with those 4 years.
In the hole, nice play by Reynolds, as you see. That retires the side. 3 ground balls here in the inning, as Gooden got in the top half. And each club is the same as we go to the top half of the 3rd inning. Houston nothing and New York nothing. Leads Atlanta 1-0. Montreal 4-0 over the Phillies in the 4th, and San Francisco leads Pittsburgh in the 4th inning 5-2. San Diego at St. Louis just getting started. No score in the 1st inning. Fly ball right center field, up and deep to Kevin Mitchell, just off that 410 sign. 1 away.
Well, Mitchell listed as an infielder, and they've got him in center field, so he must be quite an athlete defensively.
That's one of the reasons that Davey Johnson has used him and kept him in the lineup this year. As we mentioned, he has played center and left field and also has played shortstop and 3rd base already this year. He won that spot out of spring training. They didn't expect him to make the ball club, but he did, so he's played a lot. Here's Terry Poole with 1 out. Poole with 6 hits. His last one, that grand slam in Montreal. He's 6 for 34 for that 176 average. 6 RBIs. 1-0 from Dwight Gooden. There's 1 out on Bass fly ball. Kevin coming in with a 259 average. Knight in on the grass for the left-handed hitter. Gets a strike, and it's 1-1. Trying to get their games together after spring DLs and early part of the season. That's a strike, and it's 1-2. No score, top of the 3rd, 1 out. Knepper will hit next here in the 3rd inning. Now it's 2-2.
Carter's in such a good habit of blocking pitches in the dirt. He blocks them even when there's nobody on base.
That big deal with Montreal, of course, has turned out real well for the Expos also. Hubie Brooks. Hubie Brooks was in that list that was drafted during that period I neglected to mention.
That's right.
By the Mets. Full count to Poole. Mike Fitzgerald, Herm Winningham, Hubie Brooks, and Floyd Yeomans for Carter. 3-2. That was almost back in the Mike parabola, right behind the plate. I guess you know that. Al Lanier, Jim Ewell, one of the Astros trainers, and a shot into the third base dugout here at Shea. 3-2 count on Terry Poole. Number 3 for Goodman.
Well, you could hardly blame Terry for not swinging at it.
Probably couldn't have done much with it, huh?
Might have been a little low. Normally you'd say that's too close to take. You got to swing with 2 strikes, but if you can't hit it anyway, you might as well hope for ball 4.
Reynolds and Cruz struck out in the first inning. 2 outs now on Poole's strikeout here in the third. And here's Knepper. Knepper's had 1 hit this year. He pops that one out of play foul off the left side. Two outs, nobody on.
Well, the Mets give Knepper a little respect. They shade him around toward left, but they are fairly deep in the outfield.
Tap to the shortstop, Rafael Santana. Another 1-2-3 inning. Gooden has retired 9 straight batters to get this ball game started. The Mets hit in the bottom of the third. Astros nothing, and New York nothing.
Book of baseball records.
Davy Johnson's lieutenants at third base is Bud Harrelson, and at first base is Bill Robinson. Robinson also the hitting instructor on this ball club for the New York Mets. And with no score here in the bottom of the third, Ray Knight will lead it off.
Robinson's done a good job. The Mets are leading the league in hitting with a 284. They're on base 36% of the time. They got a 434 team slugging average. And they're scoring almost 6 runs a game.
Oh, that'll carry you a long way, especially with the pitching they've been getting.
You don't need that much pitching with numbers like that.
Ray Knight is running second in the league with that 349 batting average starting tonight. Second in home runs with 6. 17 RBIs. Santana will bat next. That's out of play. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Knepper's retired 6 in a row. Gooden has retired all 9 of the men he has faced. Knepper pitched 5 innings his last time out. That was Friday against Montreal. Gave up a run and 4 hits, and Dave Smith saved that game for him. The Astros have won all 6 of the games that Knepper has started this year. 6-0 while Knepper starts his 7th game tonight. 5-0 personally. Ball 2, strike 1 tonight. Knight and Howard Johnson have been platoon some at third base, and Johnson has been playing a lot of shortstop as Dave Johnson, the manager, wants to get both of their bats in because Howard Johnson has been doing a good offensive job also this year. But he has Santana at shortstop tonight with a left-hander going.
Well, I suppose he feels with Gooden on the mound, he doesn't really need that extra bat in the lineup.
It probably crossed his mind.
We've been scoring 6 runs a game. Maybe 5 might be enough for Dwight.
Ball 2 and strike 2 on Knight, leading it off here in the third. Cruz stays deep in left. Bass in center tonight again, and Terry Poole is in right. 2-2 the count. Up the middle to Bass. the first ball out of the infield tonight for the New York Mets. Astros have hit a couple out. Fly ball by Dorn in the first to left, and Bass fly ball to center to Kevin Mitchell. Everything else has been strikeouts, or they stayed inside up to this point. This is Santana.
This is a good pitcher's ballpark. You got the slow infield with the natural grass, and it's not an easy home run park.
Santana with 9 hits. He is 9 for 53. 170 average and 2 runs batted in. That's how to play into the seats off the right side. And Nepper gets ahead of him 2 strikes with 1 out. And Dwight Gooden will hit next. Finals in the American League today. California 6 and Boston 2. New York beats Chicago. Yankees 2-0 over the White Sox. Oakland bombed Toronto today 17-3. And Milwaukee shut out Seattle 10-0. All afternoon games in the American today. This one is no score, bottom of the 3rd with an out. That's the second strikeout for Nepper.
Got him on that oh-so-slow curveball. How can you throw a curveball that slow? There aren't many guys that can.
Well, let's get the imaginary clock on that one. 62 miles an hour. Here's Gooden.
He can hit.
3 hits this year. He's batting .214. He has a lifetime batting average of .215.
Hit .226 last year with a homer and 9 RBIs, and set a Mets team record with 21 hits.
There are 2 outs and nobody on. No score, bottom of the 3rd. Couple of strikes here to Gooden. Knight's flied out. Santana struck out. Outfield is shallow and around the right side. Popped him up. Nepper calls for it. And that retires the side. Davis and Walling coming in on the flanks that time, but the pitcher makes the pop-up catch. And as Gooden does, Nepper does. Through the first 3 innings, each has retired 9 consecutive batters. We go to 4. It's 0-0. As we start the 4th inning, the mist has turned to a light drizzle here in New York. As Bill Doran steps in, he'll be followed by Reynolds and Cruz. We are 0-0. And no one has reached base yet. Doran flied the left field his first time to George Foster. Doran is 3rd in the National League still and getting on base 43% of the time. He has a 6-game hitting string going. Earlier this year, he had a 9-gamer before he was stopped. He is 9 for 27 right now in this string. 2-1.
Well, we built this as a pitching duel, and 18 have been up and 18 have been sent back to the dugout. You wonder if Gooden ever pitched against Nepper last year. Well, he did, and he beat him 1-0.
2-1. Hernandez. Gooden will cover. Doran is retired, 1 out.
That Gooden beat the Astros 4 times last year. That's as much as you can beat a team from the other division because you only play them in 4 series. I guess a relief pitcher could do better, but for a starter, that's all you can do. And all he did was pitch 33 innings, give up 24 hits and 7 runs in those 4 starts.
Reynolds struck out his first time, no score. Gooden has defeated the Astros 5 consecutive times. His lifetime record against Houston is 6-1. And that shutout that Murray was just talking about, the one shutout that Gooden has against Houston.
Do you remember the one, though, of the 6-1?
No, I don't.
Well, it was on this day 2 years ago, May 6th.
Did they bomb him?
Probably the worst game he's ever had.
1-1 here on Reynolds.
Pitched 2 1/3 innings against the Astros in that game and gave up 8 hits and 8 runs.
My. I guess he is human once in a while.
Yeah, every 2 years.
That's out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. There's 1 out. Doran tapping to Hernandez. Cruz will be next. Nolan Ryan will work tomorrow night, the second game of the series. Getting a little heavier rain now. We had that 45-minute rain delay when it started. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hernandez again. This will go the same way. Well, there are 2 men out here in the 4th inning, and that's 11 consecutive batters retired by Dwight Gooden. Here's that tap again.
Gooden was bobbling the ball as he crossed the bag.
Here you get a look at some of the rain we're getting now. This is not quite as heavy as we had about 15-20 minutes before scheduled game time, but it's coming down pretty good now. Cruz takes a strike. Shea struck out his first time. Gooden has struck out 3. You got Reynolds and Cruz in the 1st inning and Poole in the 3rd. And a ball and a strike. Gooden 24-4 last year. 45 big league wins in a little bit over 2 years. And let me mention that percentage again, 78% win percentage. That's only for 2 years, but that is phenomenal.
Well, the first half of his first year, though, he wasn't that good.
2-2.
Since then, since about midway through his rookie year, he's 36-5. What's that figure out to?
Two outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. He's alive in the foul ball to the screen. Think about the highest that anyone has gone through an entire career is about 67, 68% in the win department.
Well, that's 88%. 36-5, and he's done that over a year and a half.
Full count to Cruz. Well, he's got a long way to go yet, but a couple years, and he's probably going to be right up among them now. Most of the fans, as you see, are staying in their seats. There's a good crowd here tonight. We're probably in the high 30s. It'll pop into right center field. Strawberry, Tuffle, and Mitchell. This is Mitchell, the center fielder. And that retires the side. 12 in a row. Through 4 innings for Dwight Gooden as Cruz goes to center field with it. And we go on to the bottom of 4 here in Shea, New York. Nothing Mets, nothing Astros.
Us syncopators of progressive ribs have a unique style of jawing.
Howard says jazz musicians talk funny.
And after a gig, I finger pop with a light beer from Miller.
After playing, Howard enjoys a light beer.
Light is super cool and a breeze on the calories, you dig.
Light is less filling, with 1/3 less calories than their regular beer. And the taste, Howard?
Oh, man, it's Obop Shabam. It's lay down, break down, birdie on the hot side of town.
He likes it.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer. And less.
Still raining here in New York as Kevin Mitchell faces Bob Nepper in the bottom of the 4th inning. 0-0. Mitchell with a chop, big high chop back to Nepper to open the ball game offensively for New York.
This ball game not going to last too long in this kind of rain. They're going to have to get the tarp on if it continues for another inning or so.
And a strike to Mitchell.
But you hope that you can play on through it and that it will subside while you're playing and that you never have to stop.
Nobody out, nobody on, bottom of 4. Walling. 1 out. 3rd, 1st to Davis as Mitchell's retired to open the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's Tuffle again, a strikeout victim, one of two that Nepper has picked up tonight. Tuffle striking out in the first.
Well, Gene, with that 5-0 start, Nepper is getting a little bit closer to the 500 career mark.
Yeah, he's only 4 away right now, and he's only 1 away in a Houston uniform. 55-56 since he came over in 81 from the Giants. And his lifetime now 4 under, starting this one tonight.
That's a big part of it the last couple of years, a 15-game winner in each of those 2 years. And now with the 5-0 start here, he's gained quite a bit on 500 in the last 2+ seasons.
2 balls and no strikes on Tuffle.
15-10 in 84, and then 15-13 last year.
This one's no score in the 4th inning with 1 out. New York hitting, and Keith Hernandez will bat next. Oh, look at that play by Walling.
Take that, Tim Tuffle.
Is anybody going to get on tonight? You know, Walling, Larry, is playing third base like he played the year before last.
You could see how he was down and ready. He was poised for a move in either direction, and he made a quick one to his left.
So a possible base hit taken away from Tuffle by Walling. 2 outs, and here's Hernandez. Put out by Jose Cruz and a fly ball in the 1st inning. Strike to Hernandez. Pretty good average.
No, that's not too bad.
And anywhere you put it.
That's what he did last year against the Astros.
1-1. Nepper 5 wins and no losses. He won his 5th game last year. He was 5-0 on May the 27th. Now we're playing on May 6th today. And he won his 5th game last year in his 12th start. He's making his 7th start tonight. So you can see he's about a month ahead of schedule. First loss last year was on the 1st of June to the Cubs when he pitched 5 innings and lost to Chicago 4-1. So we have a couple of undefeated pitchers. 5-0 Nepper and 4-0 Gooden. No score. No one has been on yet. We're 2 outs deep into the bottom of the 4th. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Hernandez. There's the first hit. Hernandez on his way to second base. And he will go. Nope, you're going to hold it. Picked off the bottom of the wall. A 2-base hit. First base runner tonight.
You can see why he hits left-handers. He doesn't give an inch. Strides right into the pitch. Got that classic swing. 309 last year, 5th best in the league. And as you saw the graphic, over 400 against the Astros and 500 against them this year, 1 for 2.
So Hernandez picks up his 10th double. He leads the National League in doubles. 2 out, 2-base hit. Here's Gary Carter. 10 games in a row now that Hernandez has sit safely. Carter bounced to shortstop this first time. 1-0.
Gotta be careful here. He's got a base open, so he can afford to nip away at the corner on Carter. He's got Strawberry, very dangerous, but a left-handed hitter coming up next.
1 ball, no strikes. Center field to retire the side. Kevin Bass hauls it in. Hernandez with a double. He is stranded. And a little notch in this ball game. The first runner has reached on the double by Hernandez, and he is stranded. That's all of 4 innings. We go to 5 here at Shea. Still nothing and nothing. Well, when you get a pitcher's battle, Bill, sometimes it doesn't develop, but so far tonight it has. We go to 5, and here's Larry Dierker.
Well, thank you, Gene. Glenn Davis is going to lead it off for the Astros. Glenn grounded to third base his first time up. Mets are deep. They play him straight away. Good starts him with a curveball strike. Gooden 24-4 last year. He not only has a great arm and good control and the poise to pitch out of trouble when he gets in it. This is low and away, but he's also got a good team playing behind him. Came up with a Mets club that was on the move and came right along with Davey Johnson, who took over and got this team in a winning mode, and so he can pitch with confidence. He's got some good teammates. Up the middle it goes, not hit that hard. Second baseman and safe at first is Glenn Davis. Santana made a swipe at it. Had he come up with it, he probably could have thrown Davis out. But Tuffle had no chance.
Little chopper up the middle. Davis not overly fast, as you know. As Larry pointed out, a good pickup there by Santana probably would have nailed him. But by that time, Tuffle's throw not in time. First hit of the ball game for Houston.
And you may have noticed that Gooden on the follow-through was falling over toward the first base side, as many of the great power pitchers have. And that ball was right up over the mound. Had he been squared away, he might have had a shot at it. This is Walling, and a long fly ball. Center fielder Mitchell is back on the track. He's going to have room for it. Well, Walling throws a scare into the Mets.
Well, I'll tell you, Larry, when you hit him almost 396 feet and it's still in the ballpark. Good shot by Walling, but one out.
Walling, the kind of hitter that might have a chance to get around on a good fastball and do some damage. And Alan Ashby, who is getting ready to hit, is another guy that can hit a good fastball.
Gooden's given up only 2 home runs this year. Rain updated to stop raining.
And Gooden starts Ashby with a curveball. Davis on first with a lead single. Infield set for the double play with 1 out. And is cheating a little bit off the line already. Davis no threat to run. Ashby swings and misses. Well, and down on the back knee that time, trying to lift that one. Gooden's earned run average last year was 153. That's the best in baseball since Gibson had a 112 in 1968. Strikes out, couldn't check. 4 strikeouts for Gooden. See Allen trying to hold up on that low curve ball. Carter tags him out. And now Kevin Bass will be the batter, and Davis is still at first with 2 outs. Hernandez is behind Davis. And low with the curveball. Gooden also led the league last year in complete games with 16. He's got 3 already this year. He led the major leagues in strikeouts with 268. Inside on Bass. In fact, he is the last pitcher since Sandy Koufax to lead the league in wins, earned run average, and strikeouts in the same year. Koufax did it 3 times. Gooden steps off. The count 2-0 on Bass. And of course, in the middle 60s, Sandy Koufax had no peers on the mound. He was the most dominating pitcher in baseball, and this guy's on his way to having that same thing said about him. Lance's foul ball may be playable for Knight, and he reaches over into the camera area and just ran out of room. like the ball was deflected. Hard to tell if it was off one of the fans or off the tip of Knight's glove. But at any rate, Bass has another life and a 2-1 count. The Mets play Kevin to pull the ball. Some teams play him to hit the other way. Well, now it's 3-1. Bass not the type of guy that draws very many walks, although he's shown a little bit better eye at the plate this year. Now Hernandez moves in even with the bag again. Bass was looking for a fastball and got it, but couldn't connect. Interesting to watch Hernandez play first base. I don't think he needs to be told when to move in behind a runner or when to come in close even with the bag. Curveball misses inside, and Bass draws a walk, the first of the ball game. Throws you a 3-2 curveball, he's going to freeze you. He froze Bass, but the pitch missed high and in. And now the Astros have a runner in scoring position. 2 outs, and Terry Poole, the batter. Davis at second, Bass at first base. The Mets had Hernandez on second with 2 outs in the bottom of the 4th. We're playing in the top of 5. No score. That curveball is right in there. We've heard about Gooden's changeup, but we haven't seen it yet tonight. Been the same old routine. Good hard fastball and a good hard sharp breaking over the top curveball. Checked by Poole. Gooden wants an appeal, but home plate umpire Jerry Crawford said, no, I saw it. Scoreboard shows 2 strikes, and now the umpire corrects the scoreboard. It's 1-1. Now Gooden wants another run through the signs. Carter will give him a number of signs to choose from with Davis at second base. Corner, strike 2. Poole was called out on strikes his first time up. Now the rain starting to fall again, not too hard. And Poole stays alive with a foul out of play. Gooden, the Rookie of the Year in 1984. And the Cy Young Award winner in his sophomore year. So much for the sophomore jinx. Poole pops one out into left center field where George Foster moves over and under and takes it for out number 3. So the Astros get a couple of base runners and a long fly ball by Wally. Raise a little bit of a ruckus in the 5th inning, but come away with no runs. So we move on to the bottom of the inning. Strawberry will lead it off for the Mets when we come back. The Fielder's Choice ticket plan with an All-Star Game ticket option is on sale for a limited time. The plan includes 20 Astros games of your choice. To find out about it, call 799-9567 and get all the information. Well, we're on to the bottom of the 5th. There's no score. We've had only 3 base runners. Rain continues to fall, and the umpire, Jerry Crawford, came out to consult with Knepper between innings to see about the mound and the footing out there. Knepper says it's all right. And here we go. So curveball in for a strike. Strawberry with 5 home runs and 17 RBIs. Breaking ball misses in, 2-1. You want to know how important Strawberry is to the Mets. Last year, before he was injured, they were 18-8. There's a strike on the outside corner. After he suffered the thumb injury and had to have surgery and was out for about a month and a half, they were 20-23. Then when he came back, they went 60-33. That's what he means to this ball club. Fouls one back out of play. He'll strike out a lot, like most power hitters, especially guys that are 6'6" with a real big strike zone for a pitcher to work with. But he'll do some damage. Hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's got great speed. And because he's dangerous, pitchers are careful with him, and he draws a lot of walks. Swing and a miss. Knepper got it. Gave him a steady diet of breaking stuff, curveballs and sliders. Finally got him with the slider. Third strikeout of the ball game for Knepper. We'll take another look at it.
That's the 21st time that Strawberry has struck out this year. He's got about 1 per game.
Let's say as long as he continues to get 17 RBIs every 21 games, he can strike out as much as he wants. And now George Foster will bat, and you can see what he's done to the Astros over the years. He's done that to just about everybody. A slow breaking pitch right on the outside corner. You might as well take it because it's awfully tough to hit. Astros deep for Foster. They play him to pull the ball. And he pulls it, and it's out of here. Home run, Foster.
Ones. That one to the back of the bullpen. It's 3:58.
We're wondering if this pitch is going to cost him the ball game. Same pitch, curveball. That time he missed the outside corner, got it over the plate. And Foster got it over the fence by plenty.
335 home runs for Foster.
And Ray Knight grounds one down third. It's a fair ball. Cruz coming over to get it as Knight rounds first. There'll be a play at second, and the throw is late. Double, Ray Knight.
Fourth double of the year for Knight. Came in as the second leading hitter in the league at 349.
Well, he chucked the line with that one.
Knight, of course, slow of foot, but that ball got in that wet grass. By the time Cruz picked it up in foul territory, he had himself a double.
So after Knepper retired 11 in a row, the Mets have had 3 hits of the last 5 hitters. This is Santana. Knepper's pitch is outside, ball 1. Santana, the Mets shortstop, not off to a good start with a bat. Takes a strike, 1-1. Batting just 170 coming into the ball game. He struck out his first time tonight. That throws shallow for him. It'll be hard for Knight to score on a hit. Balling's got it. Throw to Davis is in time. Well, the Astros made a little noise in the top of the 5th inning, and the Mets have broken through here in the bottom. And the ovation for Dwight Gooden, who has held the Astros scoreless on 1 hit through the first 5. Had 9 RBIs last year. He's got 1 already this year, so you can't just throw it in there and expect to get him out. First time up, he popped to Nepper. Astros trying to regroup after a couple of tough games in Montreal, where they jumped to early leads and saw the Expos come back and beat them. Good with a long fly ball. Cruz is back on the track. He's got room and he's got it. A good play by Jose Cruz, who was playing shallow for Gooden and had to go all the way to the wall to get it. So Gooden gives the Astros a scare, and Foster gets the Mets on the board, and we'll go to the 6th inning with the Mets leading 1-0. Top of the 6th inning from Shea. Dwight Gooden gave Nepper a good scare with a long fly ball to end the bottom of the inning, and now Bob Nepper will have a chance to return the favor. Nepper will lead it off. It'll be Nepper, Dorn, and Reynolds. Ground ball shortstop, first time for Nepper. And time called. And it's ball 1. Gooden apparently went to his mouth. No one that I know has ever accused him of throwing a spitball, and I'm sure it was an unconscious sort of thing. And he looks a little upset about it, but if you go to your mouth while you're on the pitching mound, it's a ball. Now the home plate umpire is trying to explain it to Dave Johnson. And he did not go to his mouth.
He went to his mouth from the third base umpire side. From his viewpoint, he did. He just went to his cheek, as you saw. But it looked like he went to his mouth with the third base umpire, Tata, looking across the infield.
That's all right, Tata. Terry Tata, we need all the help we can get against this guy. Swing and a miss, 1-1. This one's out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, you wonder what Hal Lanier or batting coach Dennis Menke might say to the players in the lineup tonight before they come out to face Dwight Gooden. What kind of advice you might give them? You might go for something like what Bucky Harris told his Washington Senators team just before they went out to face Bob Feller. Another foul out of play. He said, go up and hit what you see. And if you don't see anything, come on back. And Nepper hits a long fly ball, but this one is dead center, and Mitchell has plenty of room. 1 away.
You know, Frankie Frisch was hitting against Feller in spring training one year, took 2 strikes, and then walked away from the plate. The umpire called him back, and he said, that's only 2 strikes, Frankie. And he said, I know. He said, but I haven't seen the first 2. There's no way I can see the third.
Well, you never know. He could go for the old Woody Held line and swing hard in case you hit it.
Yeah, always got a chance.
Well, Doran's 0 for 2, a fly ball and a ground ball to first. Curveball is high, ball 1. Doran worked the count to 3-1 in the first inning before flying to left field. Leads the team with 18 walks, second in the National League. So now the count is square at 2-2. The Astros had trouble with the Mets last year. They had trouble here at Shea, and they had trouble in the Astrodome as well. 2-4 here, 2-4 there, 4-8 overall. So a lot of people had trouble with the Mets last year. They had a good year.
Finished only 3 out behind the Cardinals.
They win 98 games.
I'm not sure, but they were right up there.
Swing and a miss, and Doran strikes out. 5 strikeouts now. Oh, just strike 2 on Doran. So now it's 2-2. And a one-hop grounder for the shortstop. Doran out by a step. Still with 2 out, nobody on. Craig Reynolds will be the batter. Reynolds is 0 for 2, a strikeout and a fly ball. Struck out on the curveball, and Gooden shows him another one, and he swings and misses at that one. The only hit that the Astros have was an infield hit by Glenn Davis to open the 5th inning. Got a pretty good piece of it, about as well as the Astros have hit a ball tonight, but he only gets an at-bat for it, and the Astros go 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. On to the bottom of 6 with the Mets on top 1-0. Well, we're just about set to go in the bottom of the 6th, and the Mets will start at the top with Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell 0 for 2, couple of ground balls, one back to Nepper, one down to Walling at third. There's a check on a curveball. Apparently did. Ball 1. Light rain still falling. Has not dampened the enthusiasm of this crowd. Nepper knocks it down. He's going to throw him out. Mets have been starting to hit the ball hard off Nepper in the last couple of innings.
Well, here's where the old cup comes in handy.
The old glove. Anything that you can get in the way of it.
A shot.
Tim Tuffle, the batter. Tuffle has struck out and was robbed of a base hit by Denny Walling his last time up. Walling diving into the hole to steal that base hit away. Tuffle came over to the Mets in an offseason deal with the Minnesota Twins. It's a long fly ball to right field. Poole is going back near the track. He runs out of room, and Tuffle is heading for second. He's going to turn and hold with a double.
have a heavy track here tonight, and Hernandez and Tuffle now both doubled, and they had a shot at third probably on dry ground. And Terry has to go a long way for this one, right at the base of the fence by that 338 sign.
Epper got the ball up and out over the plate. His location has not been real good in the last couple of innings. And to make the problem worse for Poole, he was playing shallow. And now the Mets threaten again. They pick up their 4th hit of the ball game. And they've got Hernandez up with Carter on deck. 1 away. Curveball is in for a strike.
All 4 hits off Nepper have been extra base hits tonight. 3 doubles and the home run.
The game opened as billed. Nepper retired 11 straight. Gooden retired 12 straight. Since then, the Astros have managed an infield hit and a walk. The Mets have done a little more damage, and they lead 1-0. Swing and a miss on the slider. Good pitch by Nepper. Hernandez got the first hit of the ball game, that double in the 4th inning. He was left on second base. Astros split 2 games in Philadelphia. Lost 2 out of 3 to the Expos in Montreal. Trying to get back on track against White Gooden. There's Tuffle at second base. And Hernandez grounds 1 foul.
That series that the Astros lost in Montreal, only the 2nd series that they have lost this year. They dropped that opening series to the Giants, 1-2, and 2 losses in Montreal, only the 2nd time in a row that the Astros have lost 2 straight this year. And that was the first 2 games of the season up until the weekend at Olympic Stadium.
And his last 2 games in Montreal offered particularly bitter pills to swallow, as the Astros had big leads in both of those ball games. I don't know if it's a problem with the signs here with the runner at second base, or whether Ashby and Nepper are disagreeing enough over what to throw that they want to talk about it. But they've had their say. The count is no balls and 2 strikes to Hernandez. Nepper goes up and in. Been throwing a lot of off-speed stuff tonight, and maybe Ashby just wanted 1 good hard fastball up and in. Stayed alive. Boy.
Getting a little harder shower again now. That's the way it's been all night, you know.
This is a mark of a good hitter, a guy like Hernandez, who's right around that 300 lifetime mark. He gets a pitch that is ordinarily a strikeout pitch, and he gets just the least little bit of baseball and stays alive, and then has a chance to maybe get a better pitch to hit. Had to serve that one down the third base side, but foul. Hernandez came into this season a lifetime .301 hitter.
Highest active National League player going into this year is Bill Madlock for lifetime. George Brett leads the American League with the highest batting average among active players.
Highest Hernandez has had, the high water mark for him, 1979, when he hit .344 and shared the league's most valuable player honors with Willie Stargell. 1-2 the count. And another foul ball. Last year he hit .309. That was 5th best in the league. Had 10 homers and 91 RBIs. Walked 77 times, so the on base was right up there as usual, and he scored 87 runs. Put that together with a Gold Glove, and you've got a pretty good ball player. Terry Tatum.
Jerry Crawford was on the verge of calling that a strike. You could just see him flinch a little bit behind the plate.
Hernandez and Nepper probably doing a little flinching too. Slow curve is popped back foul straight back behind the screen. Pretty good battle going here. The first time up, Hernandez went down easily on a fly ball to Cruz. Nepper considering that 2-2 pitch again, and Hernandez steps out and then quickly back in again. And starting to make a little noise, and there's a bunch of them here tonight. Tried to check and did, and now the count is full. 41,722 paid, 43,545 in the house, and the rain has not dampened their enthusiasm. Hernandez fouls another one off. Now he's going to go to the rosin bag again.
It's the second largest crowd that has seen Houston play this year. 46,638 at Candlestick on their opening day on the 15th of April. 41,722 paid today.
Yeah, that crowd out in Candlestick braved some cool, rainy weather as well. Been chasing us all around the league. We'll do it again at 3-2. Tuffle at second base. Inside, ball 4.
That's quite an at-bat for Hernandez.
He really worked for that walk.
Charlie Kerfeld is in the bullpen for Houston.
And now Gary Carter will bat, and Strawberry is on deck.
We might have a delay if this keeps up after this inning.
Well, Nepper going to try to get a ground ball out of Carter. Carter runs pretty well for a catcher, but is not extremely fast, and you'd like to see him hit something you could turn into a double play. Just inside, ball 1. Carter grounded to shortstop his first time up, and then with Hernandez at second and 2 outs in the 4th inning, he lined to center. Nepper really messed with that one.
Ball's getting slippery.
Ball is slippery, the mound is slippery, the batter's box is slippery. This is what you find out if you've got a mutter out there. So far the edge goes to Gooden in that category. So Carter's got ahead of Nepper in the count 2-0. Now he steps out. Nepper working very slowly here. Trying to make that one good pitch that can get him out of it. With a pitching service like this is that mud gets sticky and it cakes up in your cleats, and that gives you no traction when you land. And he may be swinging. Pitch is right on the outside corner. Better looked like he had the green light that time. Mets have had an incredible string. They just came off a road trip. They were 9-1 on the trip, and they won 14 of their last 15 games, included in that an 11-game winning streak. Well, they are a team playing with confidence behind their best pitcher. Carter fouls one off, and now the count is full to him. A look at the pitching mound. The surface in front of the rubber looks pretty good there. Kemper's problem is more with where he lands than where he pushes off.
Time asked for by Tuffle at second for some reason.
He says, if everyone else can stall, so can I. The drama continues with the full count to Gary Carter. And the line drive center field and deep. Bass is going back. He has got it. He overran that ball and had to reach back and make a basket catch. The runners, Tuffle and Hernandez, went halfway. Tuffle probably could have tagged on it, but with one out, there's not that big an advantage. And so now there are 2 outs. And Carter got a pretty good piece of it.
Basket catch right off his knees.
Make it exciting, Kevin. Kemper says not that exciting. So another line drive to center, and now Strawberry is up. He struck out last time. Hit a hard ground ball to second base his first time up. Kemper starts him with a breaking ball, and it's wide, ball 1. Strawberry hit .240 against the Astros last year, but he did some damage. 3 homers and 7 RBIs. Now Kemper falls behind him 2-0, and on deck is the guy who hit the home run to put the Mets out in front, George Foster. There's your base runners, Hernandez and Tuffle. Ball 3 to Strawberry. Now Les Moss is going to come out and have a word with Kemper. Kemper is obviously a little bit upset about the pitching surface. He's having trouble getting that kick leg to land and set firm.
Let's run down the scores quickly here. Cincinnati is leading Atlanta 1-0 in the 6th inning. Reds are trying to snap a losing string of 9. Montreal 6-0 over the Phillies in the 6th inning, and the Giants still lead Pittsburgh 5-2. Astros have a 1.5 lead on San Francisco, and St. Louis leads San Diego 1-0 in the 2nd inning. And earlier today, the Cubs beat the Dodgers 7-6.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Strawberry's got a green light. Carter had one, but did not swing. And I think Strawberry was taking all the way. And now a 3-1 count. Bottom of the 6th inning. Mets lead 1-0. Strawberry pops it up, but Cruz is a long way from it. Reynolds. And now Walling, and the ball falls behind the tarp roll, and nobody gets it. Boy, that ball had some English on it. It looked at first as if it might be a play for Cruz, and then Reynolds and Walling started after it.
Hard to tell how much the wind had a factor in this, but Walling was a long way away from it when he made that dive.
And the fans in the first row got their hands on it, and so it's unlikely that Walling could have caught it even had he been over there. And now we've got a full count, and with 2 outs, the runners will be breaking.
Had the fans got their hands on it, he would have been out.
If he'd have been over there trying to compete with them.
Right.
But it would have been hard to reach up over that tarp roll and get the glove up into that vicinity. There's the situation. Runners first and second. Tuffle and Hernandez break. And the pitch is a swing and a miss, and Knepper gets out of it. He strikes out Strawberry for the second time in the ball game. And the Mets leave 2 base runners, and we move on to the 7th inning. From Shea in New York, it's Mets 1, Astros nothing.
Larry, good job by Nepper getting out of that jam. He was behind in a lot of hitters in that inning. Stayed tough against Hernandez, but lost him, and Hernandez did a good job at the plate also. And then the big strikeout of Strawberry. So we're 1-0 as we go to the 7th inning. The Mets on top.
Les Moss there talking to Nepper, and I'm sure there was some real soul-searching going on there, because Nepper was obviously upset about the mound, and Moss wants to make sure that his mind is in the right place and that he is ready to continue, because otherwise they'd rather bring somebody else in there. And Nepper pitching a fine ball game, so they probably don't want to bring anyone else in there if he's in the right frame of mind to continue.
So as has been the case all evening, the rain has stopped again. And you can see around the mound in the home plate area that they put the material down to help soak up the moisture as we go into the 7th inning, and Jose Cruz will be the first batter. Billed as a pitching duel, it certainly has been that through 6. Home run by George Foster, the only run of the ball game. 4 hits by New York, all extra base hits. And an infield hit by Glenn Davis off of Dwight Gooden. Gooden has a 1-hitter going, 4 strikeouts and a walk. Keith Hernandez and Gooden there to cover on it. That's the 3rd time they have done that tonight. Not the more difficult of the ones that Doran and Reynolds hit in the 4th inning. 1 out. Cruz now 0 for 3, struck out, flied out, and has just tapped to first base. The only hit off Gooden was the Davis hit. Let's resurrect that for you. Through the box. Gooden off balance. He couldn't field it. Santana over from shortstop. Reached down, couldn't get it in front of second. Tuffle fielded it behind the bag and threw late to first base. And a strike. Strike 1.
Well, you talk about the difference between pitching a 1-hitter and a no-hitter, and of course he's a long way from even pitching a 1-hitter. But if this is the only one the Astros get, Santana was just a couple of inches away from touching that, and even if he'd have dropped it, they may have given him an error.
1 strike on Davis. He'll be followed by Denny Walling. Left side of the infield here is Knight at third and Santana short. They are shaded way over. Knight too far off the line, and Santana pretty well over in the hole. And Davis gets behind 2 strikes. Hal Lanier is saying something to plate umpire Jerry Crawford. And Lanier is evidently objecting to the sound system here. I don't know what's going on. I can't hear it.
That's what he's objecting to.
Of course, you can't play the organ during that. I don't even know whether they have an organ here or not. That's foul. Pretty good pop, though, by Davis. And the count stays at 2 strikes. Davis hit a home run off Gooden here last year. It was an inside-the-park home run.
It was his first and maybe his last.
Hold on, we might have a tie game. We'll see. He's down 2 strikes. 1 out. Just got out of the way.
Gooden's got excellent control. When he comes in there, you can bet he wanted to be somewhere in that vicinity. Davis reaching out and golfing that curveball. He might want to give him a message to stay back.
That's number 5 for Gooden. Oh, with 2 outs here in the 7th, and the Mets leading it 1-0. Here's Denny Walling, 0 for 2. The only hit by Davis to open the 5th, that infield hit. Walling has bounced out and flied out. Made a great stop on Tim Tuffle's ground ball in the 4th inning for what has turned out so far to be the defensive play of the night. And a ball outside. Tomorrow night, Nolan Ryan will be pitching. And Sid Fernandez, the slimmed down Sid Fernandez, will be pitching for New York. Second baseman Tuffle. Fernandez. That retires the side. Earlier in the game, Gooden had retired 12 in a row. Base hit Davis later on in that inning a walk. The only two Astros who have reached. We go to the bottom of the 7th here at Shea. New York still on top, 1-0. That homestand starts with the Phillies on Monday night. Also, the Cubs will be in, the New York Mets, and also the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6 innings tonight for Nepp. He has given up the 4 hits. 1 run is the home run by George Foster. He'll be leading it off here in the bottom of the 7th. 1 walk and 4 strikeouts.
I know that last inning had to really drain a lot of emotion out of Nepper, and sometimes even when you're pitching well and not giving up too many hits or walks, you can lose a lot of energy in a big jam. And what he's got to be careful of now as he faces Foster to start the Mets 7th is that he doesn't have a letdown in this inning after getting out of the big jam in the last one.
There's the home run by Foster.
That'll let you down.
First of the year, way to the backside of the bullpen. Now that bullpen, Larry, you know how deep that is. How deep is it out there, would you say? You can remember.
I would say it's about 100 feet, maybe about 80 feet from the one wall to the other, maybe 100.
Went out at the 358 sign. Add 100 to that. Pretty good shot.
Nobody's ever accused Foster of being weak.
Foster's home run, his 335th of his career. He is 41st on the all-time list. And his next home run will tie him with Joe Adcock. There's a good home run name of the past for the Braves. Ball 1.
Hey, talk about a good home run name of the past. It was on this date in 1915 that a pretty good home run hitter. He was a pitcher at the time, connected for number 1. Imagine who that might be, Gene.
Sounds like the Babe to me.
It was the Babe. He hit his first.
And he was not wearing a Yankee uniform either, was he?
He was a Red Sox.
He pitched that game.
He pitched his first couple of years, didn't he?
Yeah.
He probably hit quite a few home runs before he started playing every day.
He did. I saw a breakdown of that once, and I can't recall what it was, but he was up in the teens, I think. Ball 2 and strike 1 to Foster. Ray Knight will be next, and then Rafael Santana as we play here at Shea in the bottom of the 7th. Home run by Foster in the 5th inning. That's the only run. Rounded out short his first time. Couldn't get around on that one on the pitch up, and it's 2-2.
Talk about the big expectations on Foster. You have a year like he had in 1977 when you hit 320 with 52 home runs and 149 RBIs. People start expecting you to do big things.
It's a bad thing sometimes about big numbers, isn't it?
That one good year can really get you a lot of enemies later on.
I think that's one of the big reasons that everybody got down on Parker at Pittsburgh.
That's right.
Because he fell down quite rapidly there for 3 years after he had a couple of good ones. I mean, he didn't fall down very much. He was still up there in the high average in home runs, but compared to that one real good year he had when he was the most valuable player. Well, he walked it. Base on balls to Hernandez, the first walk off Nepper. Now he leads off the 7th to put Foster on. And there goes the bullpen phone. We had Kerfeld up in the last inning. Nothing doing right now, but we'll get some action here in a minute. Knight's fly to center and doubled. Picking up his 4th double of the year. Has Foster on first base with nobody out.
Hit that ball right down the line on the double. Walling made a diving try for it, and Walling's off the line again this time.
Strike 1.
Once the Astros have advanced scouts who pick up a team about a week ahead of when the big team plays them. And so they've been watching the Mets for about the last week, and that's how they set their defense.
And ex-Houston Colt 45 Dick Gernert was the advanced scout for the Mets up in Montreal. Good to see Dick again. 1 ball, 1 strike. Charlie Kerfeld, and looks like DePino. Let's check for sure. So we got bullpen action in left. Foster with a walk. 1 ball, 1 strike here on Knight. Santana next. Foul ball up this way. 1-2. San Francisco has won their game tonight. The Astros a game and a half ahead of the Giants starting this one. Final is San Francisco 7 and Pittsburgh 2. So if the Astros lose this one, they will just have a half a game lead. Down by only 1 though in the 7th.
Well, we got 2 innings to go, and we're saving all our hits for the end.
1-2. Astros have been in first place for 13 consecutive days. They took over first on the 24th of April. Padres, the 3rd place club in the league, leading St. Louis 2-1 in the 4th. Foster on first. Struck him out. Really tied him up with that one. That's 5 strikeouts for Knepper. Now you'll face the shortstop, Santana. Struck out and bounced out. Mets had a double by Hernandez in the 4th. He was left on. Foster homered, double Knight, a run left on. Double Tuffle and a walk to Hernandez, 2 left on. So 4 left by the Mets with this 1-0 lead through 6 innings. The Astros have stranded 2. On Davis hit and a base on balls by Dwight Gooden to Kevin Bass. And a strike to Santana.
Mets have tried a few players at shortstop in the last couple of years. Jose Oquendo and Ron Gardenhire, among others. A bit settled in on this guy. He's a good fielder.
Off his handle. Walling. Low throw. There, Walling. Foster going to 3rd. Poole makes the pickup. Poole getting in very quickly from right field and holds the runners to 2nd and 3rd. Right, this throwing error by Walling is his first of the year.
A little off balance when he made the throw. Of course, you're going to be on a play like that. Ball may have been a little bit wet. I'm surprised we haven't seen some players trying to bunt in this game.
So Poole gets it back in. He followed that in behind Davis in foul territory. That's the 24th error on the Astros this year, and that's a little bit high. They do not lead the league by any means in that department, as the Dodgers are still in the league. But now the infield will come in with Foster on 3rd and Santana at 2nd, and Dwight Gooden will hit. He drove Cruz to the 371 mark in left center field his first time. Popped out to the mound his first time up. He is 0 for 2. Walling, Reynolds, Dorn, and Davis in tight with only 1 out. No squeeze on him.
Well, the Astros do a little guessing. You'd really like a strikeout here, but Gooden is not an easy pitcher to strike out. He's been up 16 times this year, and he's only struck out 3.
Gooden leads the Mets in sacrifices. He has 3. And Foster's on 3rd, and Santana's on 2nd. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two balls, no strikes. Excuse me. 2-0. Gooden gets a recheck from Bud Harrelson at 3rd base. Walk and an error has set up this potential here for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th, leading 1-0. Knepper fastballs him, and it's 2-1.
Well, Gooden's got a nice swing, quick bat.
Santana on 2nd. Foster on 3rd. 1 out. 2 balls, balls and 1 strike on Dwight Gooden. 3-1. Top of the batting order, Kevin Mitchell next. First base is open. 3-2.
Harrelson giving signs that you don't expect to squeeze play with 2 strikes because you could squeeze play right into a double play.
All right, here's that 3-2 pitch. Still alive on that foul ball up the screen. Base on balls to Foster, strikeout of Knight. And the throwing error by Walling gets Mets to second and third. And pitcher Dwight Gooden still with that 3-2 count. Pulled deep in right. Over his head. Foster scores. Here comes Santana around third. Pull throw to Reynolds. 3-base hit for Dwight Gooden. It's 3-0, New York. All right, here's that 3-2 pitch, and Gooden puts a charge in it to right.
Well, pull was shallow. Quite get there, but that doesn't take anything away from the natural ability, the quick bat, good eye, good swing of Gooden, who worked the count in his favor and hit the ball awfully hard and a long way to the opposite field. Boy, what is there that this guy can't do?
Well, he's that extra man. He's a great athlete. He does everything well. Here's another look at that triple to right field. This is after the play was concluded. We'll have a pitcher change as Hal Lanier has gone to the mound, and Charlie Kerfeld will take over. That's the first extra base hit this year for Gooden. He now has 15 runs batted in during his career as he drives in 2 here to put the Mets out in front 3-0. It's days like this when you don't miss the designated hitter. But when do you miss it?
Not with him.
Nepper goes 6 in 1/3 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 bases on balls, 5 strikeouts. Nepper out. Kerfeld is in. Mets lead at 3-0. We'll be right back after this. Plate umpire, we're getting a very hard shower here at New York right now, and play is going to continue as Kerfeld comes on to pitch. Kerfeld pitched 3 days ago in Montreal, worked 2 1/3 innings, gave up 2 hits and walked a batter.
There was a 3-run deficit, and just 2 at-bats left. The Astros might welcome this shower. In fact, they might hope for a deluge.
Kevin Mitchell takes it too high for ball 1. 2 runs are in, 1 is out. Gooden is the runner at third. The infield is still in. Walk, an error, and a 3-base hit by the pitcher Gooden has put the Mets up 3-0. That's a strike from Kerfeld. Kerfeld making his 11th appearance of the year. He has been in more games than any other Houston pitcher this year. This is number 11. Oh, did he miss that one? That's good enough for 2 strikes right
I'd like
there.
to know who could hit that one. Frank Howard on his best day couldn't reach that one.
Kerfeld's ERA is an 0.83. This is about as hard as it's rained now since the game started. Mitchell's been up 3 times. All 3 times he's bounced out. Gooden down off the third. Base hit. 4-0. Routine ground ball, but with the infield in, up the middle for an RBI. And the Mets have themselves a 3-run inning and a 4-0 lead. We'll have a runner now at first base. This is Lenny Dykstra running for Mitchell. This is Tim Tuffle. He has had a double. Had a base hit taken away from him by Walling in the 4th on a good play. Struck out his first time.
Double move there by Mets manager Davey Johnson. Dykstra a better outfielder, so he'll be on to play defense, and also a better base runner. He's 9-0 in the stolen base department.
1 ball, no strikes to Tuffle. Tuffle went to the bottom of the fence in right field with a 2-base hit in the 6th. Still only 1 out here for the Mets in the bottom of the 7th. 2 balls and no strikes. Kerfeld has faced Mitchell and given up the base hit. Tim Tuffle with Keith Hernandez next. Now the rain has stopped, or except just about stopped. So the plate umpire Jerry Crawford and crew chief Harry Wendelstedt are taking that into consideration, this up and down rain, as the weather has not made up its mind what to do. Dykstra is running. Doran got one. Did not get through. Davis missed on the tag. That was really bang-bang at second base, and Reynolds had to make a really quick getaway on that one. Here's another look at it. Dykstra running.
Great job by Doran to get this ball to Reynolds in time to get the runner at second. You could see the Reynolds' legs were pinned. Davis swatted him on the back, and the umpire, Charlie Williams, was on the other side of the runner and had no way of seeing the glove and whether it touched him.
Second out of the inning. Tuffle takes over at first base, and Keith Hernandez steps in. Mets 4, Astros nothing, 2 down. Hernandez doubled in the 4th and walked in the 6th.
I'm not sure where the umpire is supposed to be on that play, but there are some plays that no matter where you are, even when you're right where you're supposed to be, you can't see what happens.
2 balls and no strikes. Deep for Hernandez with Tuffle at first. Last July the 27th, Charlie Kerfeld made his debut here. Started, went 3 1/3 innings, gave up 5 hits and 7 walks and 6 runs. He lost that game 7-3. But he's come back as a bullpen pitcher this year and has been doing a good job. Here's 3-0, and he walks Hernandez. A base hit and a walk, got a couple on after Kerfeld has entered. Here's Gary Carter. Carter's been up 3 times without a hit. Left-hander Mike Madden is starting to loosen for Houston behind the left field fence. Kerfeld has singled to Mitchell, and that drove in the runner from third, pitcher Dwight Gooden. He's gotten an out, and he has walked Hernandez. Carter. Strike 1. on first. Last half of the 7th.
And here comes the rain.
Strike. Two on, 2 outs. Foul ball back on a play. Well, the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tuffle on second and Hernandez on first. Mets lead at 4-0. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Gary Carter. Now 2-2. On that one. Struck him out. That retires the side, but the Mets have a big one. Big error in the inning. Triple by Gooden. We go to the top half of the 8th inning here at Shea. New York 4 and the Astros nothing. Ryan's 3,000 strikeout victim. Remember now, number 3,000 for Ryan. Lenny Dykstra is taken over in center. Ran in for Kevin Mitchell. Stays in his position in center as we start the 8th inning.
We had the anniversary of that strikeout while we were in Philadelphia and talked about it a little bit then. So if you were listening, maybe you remember.
Very memorable day for that young man when he struck out.
Hey, no fair giving clues.
No. Well, Ashby takes ball 1.
I guess
Allen's
we can
grounded out and struck out. What? Say what?
You just gave it away. It wasn't Pete Rose.
1 ball, no strikes. Fastball by Gooden. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, there's the only hit off Gooden. He has pitched 7 innings, 1 hit. That's the infield hit by Glenn Davis in the 5th. 1 base on balls. Foul way upstairs.
Yeah, both the walk and the hit in the same inning.
Only 2 base runners the Astros have had. 12 batters in a row retired to start the ball game by Gooden. He has retired the last 7 since he walked Bass with 2 out in the 5th. I'm going to stop mentioning the rain. It's either raining or it's not here in New York. Two balls, 2 strikes. Ashby, Bass, and then Poole. Madden still in the bullpen as we get down to the bottom part of the batting order, and the Astros trail 4-0. Second time that Ashby has struck out. And Gooden has 6 strikeouts. Bass with that fly to center and a base on balls. Gooden has given up just the 1 hit. He's averaged 6 hits per 9 innings this year. And has averaged just 1 and 1.3 bases on balls per 9 innings. 1 hit, 1 walk tonight.
I was trying to get those totals down a little bit.
Yeah, they're pretty embarrassing, aren't they? Foul ball.
7 batters per 9 innings. I mean, 7 base runners every 9 innings. That's too much. Two strikes on Bass. Poole on deck. And 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gooden beat Pittsburgh in his first start of the year. The first batter he faced was R.J. Reynolds, and he had a home run off it. Hasn't given up much since then, though.
That's out of play. And the count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, we hope you join us tomorrow night. We'll be on at 6:30. Second and final game of the series. Nolan Ryan will pitch against Sid Fernandez tomorrow night. And then over the weekend, the ball club will be in Pittsburgh for games Friday and Saturday nights and Sunday afternoon. Home on Monday, 10-game stand against Philadelphia to open it up. Mets will be in, also the Cubs and Pittsburgh. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Bass with an out. Ashby caught looking to open the inning. 8 batters in a row retired by Gooden.
Oh, Bass is upset. He got a hanging curveball. He said, I've waited all this time.
Look at him. He's
through 3
replaying.
at-bats, and I finally got a pitch to hit, and I missed it. That's the way it is against a guy like Gooden. You're not going to get too many, and you hate to miss them when they come by.
Well, the count is still 2-2. Well, he gets it out full. Mets 4, Astros nothing. Top of 8. Number 7. Second time tonight that Gooden has back-to-back strikeouts. Ashby, Bass here. Reynolds, Cruz in the first.
Trying to swing at a bad pitch.
Oh, Gooden with 2 outs and Poole the hitter. You got Poole looking back in the 3rd inning and then flight him to left. Ball 1. Dwight Gooden working on a 1-hitter as he has 2 outs in the 8th. He has had 1 1-hitter during his career. Now he did on the grass at 3rd for Poole. Now a 1-1 count. Ball 2, strike 1. Nobody on. 8th inning. Full count of 3-2. Went for a high pitch, and he fouls it into the seats back at 3rd base. There's Mark Bailey hoping to get a shot here with 2 outs and nobody on. He is on deck for Charlie Kerfeld. Here's that 3-2. And deep up the middle to Dykstra. So that's 10 in a row retired by Gooden, who earlier had 12. Mets will hit here in the bottom of the 8th inning with the score New York 4 and the Astros nothing. Ryan's 3,000th strikeout victim. Cesar Geronimo. He figured a lot of strikeouts, didn't he? In the historic strikeouts victim, wasn't he? Mark Bailey now catching as we have a switch. Bailey will bat number 9. Will come up to lead off the 9th inning, and Mike Madden takes over in the mound for Charlie Kerfeld, who went 2/3 of an inning. Kerfeld walked one, gave up a hit, and struck out a batter behind Bob Knepper. So Madden will be batting in Alan Ashby's spot, or number 6 in the order. It will be Bailey, Doran, and Reynolds to lead off against Gooden in the top of the 9th. Right now the Mets are leading it 4-0.
Well, you had a look at what Madden has done. It works out to an earned run average of 270 with that 1-1 record.
It's been 7 days since Madden has pitched. He worked in the Philadelphia series for an inning at the beginning of this road trip. Here's Strawberry. This is the 4th relief appearance for Madden this year. He has made now 4 relief appearances in 1 start. He's the only one on the staff that has both started in relief this year. Strawberry has struck out twice and grounded out. He'll be followed by Foster and then Knight. 4-0 Mets. We're in the bottom of the 8th. One and 2. All 4 runs off Knepper. 3 of them earned. 5 hits, 5 strikeouts, and 2 walks. That's the 3rd straight time that Strawberry has struck out tonight. That runs the strikeout total to 23 for the year.
Good fastball up and in. Could tie up a lot of tall hitters with that pitch, or guys with long arms. It was good in thinking about finishing the shutout off. He's got 1 inning to go.
And after his second 1-hitter of his career. It's fouled right back off the screen by Foster, strike 1. Foster with the first run in this game, first home run of the year in the 5th. He walked and scored a run in the 7th, driven in by Gooden's triple. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the 8th. 2 balls and 1 strike. That's on a play to the right. Nolan Ryan tomorrow night against Sid Fernandez, 6:30. Hope you'll join us for that one. And the Astros move into Pittsburgh in the continuation of this 10-game road trip. 2-2 the count. Struck him out. A couple of strikeouts here by Madden in his first inning of work.
Throwing hard tonight. Good fastball outside corner.
This is Ray Knight. He's on the board with a double tonight. Around it, he's flied out and struck out. 8 strikeouts by 3 Houston pitchers tonight. 7 by Dwight Gooden through 8. Down to 3rd, Walling. Knight hasn't picked up any speed, has he?
No.
That retires the side. Well, we go to the 9th. Mets are on top. Gooden trying to get a shutout in his second 1-hitter. Score is New York 4, Astros nothing. Well, this is it now. Our next telecast is tomorrow night, 6:30. Don't forget, Ryan will be up against Fernandez in that one, so join us tomorrow for the wrap-up of this 2-game series. Well, Dwight Gooden trying for his second shutout this year. The Astros have not had a one-hitter pitched against them since 1983 when Charlie Lee of Montreal beat them 2-0, and they've had only one hit tonight. Bailey, Doran, and Reynolds. Bailey just in to catch up for his first time. And a strike. Astros have been shut out once this year. A 3-0 three-hitter by Mario Soto. They have been shut out tonight up to this point. One ball, one strike. Bailey hitting 152. He's had only 5 hits in 33 times at bat. 2 runs batted in. Gooden's first one-hitter, or his only no-hitter, came in 1984, his first year in the big leagues. It was in September against the Cubs.
I mean, you think back about the one hit, the Davis single, an infield hit, a play that could have been made.
1 ball, 2 strikes. You're right. Let's recap it a little bit. Right back to the mound, and Gooden following through couldn't make the play. Santana from shortstop. Ball just got under his glove on the edge of the grass in front of second, and Tuffle had to make the throw on it, and he was too late on it. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes on Bailey. Mets 4, Astros nothing. Second walk off Gooden.
Well, Bailey can get those walks, can he?
Well, he got them last year.
He's good getting the strikeouts this year.
Yeah, he has got back in the form. So Gooden twice tonight in double figures. 12 retired in a row to start the game, and that string has stopped at 10. And the Astros got their 3rd runner on in this game on a walk to Mark Bailey. Jordan is 0 for 3. This is the 9th inning. Bailey on first and nobody out. First baseman Hernandez. He'll go to Santana. That's the only one they get. 1 away. Bailey out at second. First to shortstop.
You know, watching Gooden pitch tonight and looking at his record last year brings to mind something that Yogi Berra said after seeing Sandy Koufax in the '63 series. He said, "I can see how he won the 25 games. What I don't understand is how he lost the 5. Gooden was 24-4 last year.
That's a pretty sage remark by Yogi.
You watch a guy pitch a game like this, you wonder how he ever loses any.
Here's Reynolds, hit the ball hard his last time when he lined out to Tuffle at second base. Struck out, grounded out, lined out. You know, when I first major league game I ever saw was Dizzy Dean pitch. He pitched against the Cubs. And the only time he really threw hard and looked like he was throwing hard the other times when he got a man on base. And he started to get toward the end. It looks like what Gooden doing right here.
He's got that quality. There's no doubt about it. Over the last couple of years and the times we've been able to pose threats against him, he is invariably on.
1 out, Doran at first base. And a count of 2 strikes on Craig Reynolds with Jose Cruz next. There's the base hit. The 1-hitter is gone. And Doran will stop at second base. No 1-hitter tonight.
Good, clean single.
Good shot to the right side. The ball hit previous to that by Reynolds, also a shot. It was caught by Tuffle.
Pitch was up and in. Reynolds defeated a pretty good fastball and not a bad location.
Little conference on the mound here, and Cruz comes to the plate. The New York Mets have thrown 2 1-hitters against Houston in history. In 1962, Al Jackson did it. And John Matlack threw the other one. That was back in 1973. Durker threw a 1-hitter against New York in 1972, and he threw one against San Diego in 1971. I didn't know you had 2 1-hitters. Yes, I did, along with a no-hitter. Now you got 3 real no-hit games.
Took me 13 years, though. This guy just getting started.
Here's Cruz. Yeah, but you had a pretty good career. Runners on first and second. Doran second, Reynolds first.
He just dropped a changeup on Cruz.
He's been saving that one, hasn't he? Didn't change up on that one.
We're going to find out if he's got any extra to go back and get here, because obviously he wanted the 1-hitter, but now he still wants the shutout.
He's had 12 shutouts in the big leagues already. He's right up among them. 1-1. Foul ball.
Well, he's got Cruz in there now. He's ahead of him, but Cruz over the years has been the Astros' best RBI man over the last 5 or 10 years, and the guy who's the big RBI man now to help Cruz is on deck. So if the Astros are going to break through, they've got the 2 guys to face him that you'd like to have in there.
1 out, 2 on. First and second with a 4-0 New York lead. 1 and 2 on Cruz. Popped him up. Tuffle back from second base, and Strawberry in behind him. Loaded.
Really was.
I think I'd give it. His 4th of the year.
Strawberry.
Right.
They won't put the mistake in the paper.
Plate of Carter, 1, double play. Well, they end the ball game on a shot, and he gets the shutout. Davis right back to the hill, and Gooden, great reaction, right back to Carter, and Carter to Hernandez to end the ball game, and the Mets have won it on a shutout by Dwight Gooden, 4-0. We'll be right back to Shea after this.